Okay, go.
Yeah. Good morning, viewers. My guest today is Tony Casement, who is a close family friend of mine and also a very accomplished artist. And this June and July is having a festival of the art, you might say, in terms of painters. And first sight, there's special events at the Cut. Now, the Cut is a big building where all of the arts is dealt out, so to speak. So, first of all, what you are doing today is a number of special events. Can you give us some picture of what you're doing? Is it a festival with certain events or what?
Hello, Stewart. Yes, what it is a residency. And for 9 days, the Cut is being converted into a kind of art school. Its usual function is an art centre. That's a bit of an anachronism. There are not many around still, but indeed the Cut is based in a small market town called Halesworth in Suffolk. As you say, it's a large maltings building and has been going since 2000. And it has a theatre, dance studio, 2 galleries, units which are let out on the top floor, and a basement where there are meeting rooms and a cafe. That's its normal function. And my colleague Kasia Posen and I decided to launch this project at the Cut. It actually started last year with the exhibition by the renowned artist Bruce McLean, and it's a multidisciplinary, that rather hackneyed phrase, but it's basically open to artists who work in many media. Bruce McLean was the pioneer of this in a way. He works in print, paint, ceramic, sculpture, film, book, and his exhibition last year kind of presaged the residency that we're now doing with 14 artist mentors who are experienced artists in their particular ways of working. We have now got enrolled 48 participants, artists from as far afield as Brazil, South Korea, Germany, Spain, Italy, and Halesworth, and Norwich, and Ipswich. There are 20 free places for underrepresented groups and 25 paying places.
Well, this is most interesting. Sorry, carry on.
No, go ahead.
Sorry, carry on. It's very interesting for us, Tony, because us in Sussex have lots of artists, and I'm sure the people watching this would be very interested to see what you are doing. And because East Anglia has the notion, and they have lots of artists, let's put it that way, and they're very interested in what you're doing, I think.
I mean, residencies are not unique, but I think what defines this particular project is that it is meant to be not so much a retreat, but as a situation where there's a certain dynamism to it, quite intensive. As I said, 14 artists. There's a range of artists around whom 4 topics have been chosen to kickstart the 9 days activity, which the participants can choose from initially to work in, and those are identity, migration, sustainable structures, and environment. So they were chosen around the particular ways that the obsessions of the artists who are doing the mentoring. And the participants can start in one area. They don't necessarily have to be confined to that. They can stay there, or they can work in other areas. So we have, the building has got 4 working floors for the project, of which each is comprised of 150 square meters for each area. And there's people who work in more conventional terms in paint, but there's also people who work in film, digital as well. We have technical backup with those people. Then in the evenings, the working day is about, I should say, roughly 9:30, 10 till 5. Then there's a communal meal. And then in the evening, there's a lecture program, some of it live, some of it streamed. And that finishes about 9:30. And I would imagine people would be pretty finished by then.
Well, if memory serves, the Cut is an old brewery building, isn't it?
Yes, it's I mean, the Cut was, I mean, just to give context, the Cut was found in its new life by, I suppose you call them, 2 creative activists, one a dancer and one a actor, back in the 2000s. And they have been doing, they've been renting village halls to do classes for children, of which mine, took part, you know. And then they found this place, which was then to be the future permanent home. But to go back to the actual history, the brewing industry, there's quite a few of these maltings buildings around the town, which were built in the mid-19th century, because of the barley, which was prevalent in this area, was used for the malting industry, well, for the brewing industry, sorry, in London particularly. It's shipped down the so-called River Blythe, which is now a silted up stream, but was then a river taken out from Southwold and down to London to Truman's Brewery, and that was its reason.
If my memory serves, back in the day, wasn't there a prize in Norwich every year? I think you got it, didn't you? One year.
No, I didn't get a prize in Norwich, but I did. There was a thing called the King's Lynn Open, which I used to take part in. I did have success there one year. Yeah. The King's Lynn Arts Centre, because art centres are a kind of a dying breed. But the Arts Centre up there no longer exists.
But what is this about a cappella singing workshop? What's that about?
The a cappella singing workshop. Well, that's just one of many things. I mean, the Cut is, you name it, everything goes on here, and half the time I haven't a clue myself what's happening. Most of the people, the kind of demographic of this area are people that look like me, over 60 and white. I mean, one of the delights that I have actually been working with someone who is of Caribbean heritage, and so the look of the summer project will be very different to what's normally seen in this area, in its makeup.
Isn't it something about
so the problem, one of the issues around here for young people, although it isn't exclusively a kind of opportunity for young artists, because I was just doing the age range breakdown, and the age range is 19 to 72 in the participants. But I mean, and the average age is about 45. But the problem in our areas, probably in many rural areas, is that there are few opportunities for young people. And it's a kind of circular firing squad, because, you know, if there are no opportunities, young people can't establish themselves in this area. So the only way you can you might be able to redress this balance is by setting up situations where they can securely thrive. And this is just a small kind of attempt in that direction, especially
is it true that
that's in Suffolk.
isn't it true that one of these singers, one of the people is the singer, the famous singer,
Eddie Peake, yes.
Yeah, and does he do much in the area?
No, but his father, Fabian Peake, who is of the famous Peake family, literary family, and his mother, who died last year, is very famous, and but his father showed here about 10 years ago, and is a kind of supporter of the cut. But Eddie comes from a very, there are quite a few artists in the family, and he's doing a performance on the opening night of the evening events program.
Do you remember
I'm
that?
not quite sure what it involves, and there's several performance people, and yeah, Eddie works. He works he's someone who works in a multiplicity of ways. He's a painter, sculptor. He works with sound, and he does performance.
Isn't he? Didn't he go to the same school as our daughter Thea?
The same school?
Yeah, was it Farm Mills or something?
That I don't know, Stuart.
No.
He isn't local to Suffolk. He was brought up in London.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Okay. So, where do we go from there? What else can you tell us? This is most interesting.
Well, I mean, just to give you a breakdown of the people involved, we've got a guy called Desmond Brett, who's a sculptor, as a teacher, a mentor. We've got on the so if you take the top of the building, I mean, if anybody is interested, they can Google, just to put it, the Cut Halesworth. And obviously, I can't. It's www.thecut.org.uk. And if you want to support us, we're doing a crowdfunder, but just a quick plug. But you'll find that on the website. There is information about the project on the events called a special events page of the website. So it can give you a complete breakdown of all the people who are involved, both the mentors, the lecturers, the technical support people. And so there's that. If you take how we've structured it physically in the building, is we've got, as I said, 4 floors, 4 usable. It's actually 5 floors, but we're not using the top floor, which is let off to artists and various other organizations. They're small units that people can rent, and there are basic sort of, the thing is, the Cut is a self-supporting, unfunded charity, which is a strength and a weakness, because if we were funded as one of our occupancies by Suffolk County Council or the Arts Council, we probably wouldn't exist, because they've cut all arts funding by 100% by the council, the Suffolk County Council, which has had big effect. So anyway, I've slightly gone off piece there, but I'm just trying to give you a picture of the building, which is that support system is on our top floor and provides a basic income. We survive otherwise by box office income, cafe, a 500 club. On the top floor that we're using, it's what is usually the gallery. It's an art gallery, and we have changing exhibitions every 5 weeks. And that program is how I got to be involved, because I was asked to deal with it back in 2003. Been here rather too long, probably, but anyway, that is usually housed there. But that is where the environments segment of the project is taking place, and that is being led by someone called Jevon Watkins-Jones and Simon Carter, both painters, but Jevon is also a filmmaker. And so if there are people who are working up there who want to do film in the manner of the way their work develops, they can, do that through him. And then there's support systems in another part of the building through our technical support team. And then the floor below the gallery is the dance studio. The dance studio is you'll see, as I see, you keep referring to the website. There are photographs of it. It's a fully sprung, purpose-built dance studio, 150 square meters. That'll be the performance area, but it will also have the potential with trestle tables and workstations for people to do sort of hard copy work if they want to. If we go down one floor below that, then you're into the cafe, which will be open during the course of the just to the public as per normal during the course of the 9-day residency. And off the cafe is the theatre. Now the theatre will have someone called Emily Godden, who does something called Virtually Their Studios, and she's got a lot of techie equipment which people can play with as part of the. She helps young people in her other life. Her thing is digital literacy, and once the daytime session is completed, that'll be cleared away, and then the evening lecture program goes on from there. It's a 208-seater theatre, quite small, but it also doubles up in the weekdays as a cinema. So we'll be able to screen films. We've got an interview with Bruce McLean, and he's a prolific filmmaker in his past. And there will be streamed interviews with a guy called Oscar Santillan, who is based in Ecuador and the Netherlands, and also a group called an artist collective called Invisible Flock, who are based at the Yorkshire Sculpture Park in Yorkshire. And then if you go, as I said, you go downstairs, then we've got the continuation of the migration topic, which is also being led by, who's that being led by? It's being led by Kay Yoland, who's a very interesting artist who deals with, she's site-specific transdisciplinary artist, examining territoriality and power across a large terrain. She's done a lot of work in the States and took some tumbleweed down the Rio Grande. I mean, all of these people you can find, they've got websites, etc. If you're interested.
Just go back to painters. When they come up there, it all seems that a lot of painters are going up to Norwich to sell their wares. Is that true? Are there galleries in North Norwich which are prepared to buy?
Well, you say that, but actually Norwich is not particularly well served by galleries. I mean, there's a couple of private galleries, one called Mandel's and one called Museart. There's one for a size and sophistication of a place like Norwich. It is quite surprising how there's not an awful lot there. There are one or two small galleries, but not a whole lot. Suffolk has, we're out in the sticks now. I mean, obviously, we've gone from medieval center of the universe to total obscurity. There's no reason for be here, really. No, there's no industry, and the roads are terrible. But so you've got kind of rural kind of galleries of that. But Norwich, Cambridge is further afield, obviously, and that's
So for viewers who don't know about Suffolk, I can tell you that Southwold and Walberswick are absolutely marvellous places to go to, and really, they're really wonderful.
Yes, and Walberswick actually has got quite an art tradition. The names have gone out of my head for the moment, but I think Sickert was one of them. And there are sort of quite a few strong Victorian art traditions.
Yeah.
And Southwold, as you say, is a very popular place if it can keep its identity. And Aldborough, of course, with its music connections. And Snape.
Yeah. But also, what always makes me, there was a young lady, who used to row the boat across the river to the other side.
Yes. Yes.
It's really quite weird, isn't it?
And she's still there, I think.
Huh?
And still there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't believe it. She's only about sort of 20 or 25 or something like that, isn't she? And you have to give her something like 10p to just.
She comes from a strong tradition of rowers, I think.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping to come and we're hoping to come out and see you quite soon, Tony.
Jolly good.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope me and Leslie can get up there soon. Yeah.
Just before we go, I wonder if Keith Hayes here. I wonder if I could just ask you about this residency so that I understand. They sort of come into barracks, to put it bluntly, and spend an intensive 9 or 10 days.
Well, it isn't a boot camp. Basically, we've booked actually quite comfortable accommodation, and we for the participants in regular holiday rental accommodation, and we've also trying to reduce some of that because it's expensive by using our network of hosts for what we as much as possible.
So you have a network of hosts. So,
we have
the local community is involved too.
The community is very much involved, and the evening lecture program is open to the public, very much so, and that's sort of running for the full 9 days. I mean, it's not. I don't know. Obviously, we don't know how. It's not. There's nobody with a whip. It's not that kind of environment. But I mean, I think it'll be. It's got to have a sort of dynamism to it for it to work, I think, and we hope that we'll achieve that. Because obviously there's a good mix of ages of people and a good mix of where they come from. So it's potentially it should be a very interesting 9 days.
Right. And the participants are multidisciplinary?
They are, yes. They're all people who are interested in working in an open and flexible way, and who are open to that they're open to collaboration even, and they might work together. One of the topics I didn't discuss is called sustainable structures, which is as it sounds, and it's the 3D element of the project, and that is going to be taking place outside. And I don't know what they're going to make, but a thing or things are going to be made at the back of on the site during the course of the 9 days.
Perhaps you'd like to come back on Mirador and tell us about that once it's got started.
Well, sure. Yeah. Be happy to. Yeah.
We've gone for 25 minutes. It goes very quickly when it's interesting, and you've been very interesting. Unfortunately, because I've got a doctor's appointment today, and they're scarce as you know.
Yes, I didn't mean to laugh. I'm just amazed that you managed to get one.
We just have to stay to the half hour today. But I'm fascinated, and I'm sitting here mounting the questions that I would like to ask you. I think this is a fascinating project, innovative and imaginative, and I'd like to take it further. So if you would come back, if you'd coordinate with Stewart, whose program it is, I'd be most grateful.
More than happy to. And if anybody wants more information about it, they just have to go to www.thecut.org.uk.
Excellent. Thank you very much indeed for your time and a very fascinating half hour.
Okay, thanks for the possibility of telling you about it.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Hope to see you soon.
Yeah, cheers, Stuart. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.